Greetings, YouTube! The Doctor is in. Dr. Urias Papers here, coming at you with another commentary on Dungeons & Dragons. And today we are talking about the spell Conjure Fey. I have the Legacy version up here right now. We are going to be comparing it to the 2024 version, which got major changes, just like all the other Conjure type of spells. We're going to look at those changes. We're going to look at the errata that actually just came out a few days ago. Compare, contrast, all that. But first, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you have any questions or comments, please leave a question or a comment. And don't forget to hit that notification bell and share the video. All right, here is the old Conjure Fey. It was a 6th level spell. It took a minute to cast. It had a range of 90 feet. It lasted for an hour with concentration. And it was usable by druids and warlocks. So it was usable by 2. Back in the day, we gave this a B+. Conjure Woodland Beings, we gave a better score than this. But this one was a little bit different. Conjure Woodland Beings was like crazy summoning a whole bunch of pixies that could polymorph everything and just decimate everything. This one, which is the old one, and you can't do this anymore, so you cast this for a minute and you summoned a fey creature of a challenge rating 6 or lower. You controlled it, you gave it commands, it rolled its own initiative, you had to keep your concentration. If you lost your concentration, you could lose control of it. And then at higher levels, you increase the challenge rating by 1. And then they gave like a plethora of sample things that you could summon because this was beasts and it was also fey. So there's a whole bunch of stuff in here. I've got a list of all of the like fey. These are all challenge rating 4 and 5 fey. Let's see here. And if I go over here, I got them in reverse order. So if we go here, here's all the 7s and the 6s. So you could do like the Buer Hag, who had a bunch of pretty juicy spells, Cone of Cold, Ice Storm, and Wall of Ice. Those are, and Hold Person at will. So that's all pretty nasty, but you could lose control of that. So that was the Legacy version. So let's take a look at the new version of the spell. And here it is right here. It's still a 6th level spell. It's still 1 action. I'm sorry. It is now 1 action. It is not a minute anymore because you're not actually summoning a creature. You're summoning something that sort of takes the form of a creature and then has an effect. It has a range of 60 feet, verbal and somatic components. It lasts for 10 minutes, which is way longer than it needs to last, with concentration, of course. And now only druids can use it, not warlocks. So that is... Now, warlocks and bards could get this through either Mystic Arcanum or Magical Secrets. But there are ways around that, but right now it is available for druids. That's what it says below. And it is School of Conjuration. So... you conjure a medium spirit. I don't know why they call it a medium because it doesn't really... I guess it kind of takes up space. Medium spirit from the Feywild in an unoccupied space you can see within range, which is 60 feet. The spirit lasts for the duration, and it looks like a fey creature of your choice. When the spirit appears, you can make 1 melee spell attack against a creature within 5 feet of it. So you can summon it next to something within 60 feet, and it tries to whack it. On a hit, the target takes 3d12 plus your spellcasting ability modifier. You are going to be around 11th level when you can cast this spell, meaning your ability modifier should be somewhere in the ballpark of a +5 at this point. So that means that you are going to be doing about 23 or 24 points of damage per hit of psychic damage, which is really good because very few things are resistant to psychic damage. And then the target gains the frightened condition until the start of your next turn, with both you and the spirit as the source of fear. And that's really important. So let's talk about the frightened condition. So while you're frightened, you have disadvantage on ability checks and attack rolls while the source of the fear was within sight. Now, there's two sources of fear with this, which means that either one is within sight. So one cannot be within sight and the other one can be, and it still applies. And then you cannot willingly move closer to the source of the fear, meaning you've got two sources which you cannot move closer to, which makes it worse. So that's a pretty nasty condition to have, considering it's both you and the spirit as the source of the fear. Then on top of that, as a bonus action, on your later turns, you can teleport the spirit to an unoccupied space you can see within 30 feet of the space it left and make the attack, which is described up here, against a creature within 5 feet. So you could keep attacking the same creature if you wanted, or you could have it attack something else and then does damage, and it causes the frightened condition if it hits. There's no save versus this. You can use higher level slots for this, and they do 1d12 damage for each slot above 6th level. So if you do this at 7th level, it's 4d12 plus your spellcasting ability modifier. And so that is going to be about 31 points of damage at that point. So you're adding quite a bit of damage. Now, one thing I do want to talk about is this little part right here. When the player's handbook first came out, that was a D12, or that was 2d12. Now it is a D12, and there's a reason for that, because as you can see here, with the change log, which just came out a couple of days ago, we've got spells. Here they are, Chapter 7 spells, and these are all errata spells. So we've got Conjure Minor Elementals. Now, instead of doing 2d8, and we've gone over this spell before, 2d8 damage, extra damage per spell slot above level 4, it now does a d8, which is, it's still a completely broken spell, don't get me wrong. It was super broken before that. Conjure Woodland Beings didn't really change. Conjure Fey was the one that also changed. So that 1d12 was a 2d12 before, which is just nuts. That is just nuts. And they changed a few other things too. But, I mean, the big change was with Conjure Minor Elementals and Conjure Fey. Conjure Woodland Beings got a change. It says use a higher level spell slot, subsection level 5 above. Now says a level above 4. That's not really that. They're just clarifying some things. But the Conjure Fey and the Conjure Minor Elementals both got a nerf to their damage. Or, as some people may say, a fix. Now, let's go over here, and I want to see if we go to sources, because I've got a player's handbook here, and I want to open up the spells in the player's handbook, and I want to see if they changed it in here. So let's go to, where are the spells at? Let me see here. Oh, spell level, spell slots, class spell lists. They don't have these. Where are these at in here? Spell descriptions. There they are. So we are going to go to Conjure, and I am going to bet these are changed in here now, because this is the D&D Beyond version of this. So let's go down here to Conjure Animals. It says a D10. That didn't really change. Conjure Minor Elementals now says a D8. Okay, and Conjure Fey now says a D12. So it is changed in here. Very good. All right, so we gave this a B+ before. I actually like these changes that they made to the Conjure spells. I'm going to give this an A-. It does okay damage. 24, 23 points of damage per round is pretty good with the Frightened, and the Frightened is even worse because it's that 2-target Frightened. So, I think this is for 6th level, I think this is a go-to spell for druids. Now, unfortunately, it is only druids. There are ways for some other classes to get this, but that's easier said than done. All right, that is what I have for everybody today. I appreciate everybody tuning in, and I will catch everybody